So like, you can't tell me it's crazy. And so don't be coming over here and telling me that it's a coincidence that there's practically no emails for those years when we all know the stories and the narratives and the theories surrounding 9/11. Okay? I think what's going on with 9/11, I think, in all honesty, I don't think it was an inside job. I think it was a global job. I think it was many nations that were involved in this, in the planning of this, because it was to usher in the New World Order. It was the beginning of your Great Reset. Things had to be put in place. Dominoes had to fall. These people play the long game. We see it over and over again, but nobody wants to say that they play the long game. They always just want to live for the next 4 years. And you have China, who they're the experts in the long game. They play the long game constantly, but we magnify that and don't ever look inwardly and say, is our own government playing the long game on us? Let's look back in history here. And then, like, if you can just step outside of your own government and just start looking at how is the world operating? Look at the Epstein files. How many countries are actually involved in just what we know from the Epstein files?
Yeah.
And you start taking that idea and you put it on other things like 9/11. You're saying, you know what? How many countries were actually involved in 9/11?
Yeah.
You know, we have this narrative that nobody believes in. Nobody at this table or Jack over in the corner pushing buttons will actually say, oh, yeah, I think it's a logical thing that a plane crashed into a tower, like a huge explosion, buildings collapsing, and we found the passport.
Yeah.
Right.
We found the passport.
Yeah.
So true.
Like that alone, forget
Exactly.
all information.
Yeah.
That alone should put off the alarm bells and say,
Yeah.
something's not right here. I feel like they're
Very
spinning
good.
a narrative on me.
Or watch the replay and
point.
Tower 11 goes down, and you're like, wait, that's not one of the other two big towers. It's
yeah,
the third
yeah.
tower that magically
Yeah.
disappears.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It wasn't hit by a
Exactly.
plane? I'm so confused.
How many years did we go for Tower 7 where nobody even knew about it? Nobody talked about it? Dude, within my podcast existing in the last decade, people still didn't know about Tower 7.
Yeah.
It wasn't talked about. It wasn't talked about. There's so many things surrounding 9/11 that need answering that we aren't getting answering. And that graphic alone says you're not getting the answers.
No, you're never
Move
gonna get it.
on.